Disney Channel star Jake Paul is accused of making life miserable for his neighbors. The 20-year-old actor stars on Disney Channel's Bizarre Bark show.
Obviously, man's got this belt right now. If any YouTuber wants it, you can come get it. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. Bring it. Same, yo, if any celebrity.
That's the legendary moment that started Jake Paul's boxing career. Here's where it all began. KSI called out Jake Paul and Logan Paul after beating Joe Weller in the UK. This was of course only 1 month after Logan Paul did some funny business in Asia, in a certain forest for you guys that know. Logan Paul was basically the biggest name in the world at that point for a few weeks, for a few days at least. KSI at this moment had all the confidence in the world, and he wanted to bring this to a world level, not just a smaller thing in the UK. He wanted to make this mainstream. And let's remember guys, back in 2017, whether you like it or not, Jake and Logan Paul, who came from Vine, they just blew YouTube out of the water. They exploded in subs, views, everything, and competed with each other. They both were such big names all over the world. All over the world. KSI was huge in the UK, but not on the level that Jake and Logan were all around the world. So KSI were smart to take the publicity, the attention, the drama, the controversy, everything, and called out Jake Paul and Logan Paul to a boxing match. So this was an amazing 6 months build to August 25th in Manchester. KSI versus Logan Paul and Comedy Shorts Gamer Deji versus Jake Paul. It very quickly became the younger brothers and the older brothers versus each other. This right here became probably the most viral, memeable picture from the entire night. Comedy Shorts Gamer Deji managed to bloody up Jake Paul, and you heard the crowd go crazy. Everyone loved it. A historical moment of Jake Paul's boxing career, which of course takes us right here. This was exactly what Jake Paul needed at this time. He was a young, early 20s. You see here he's screaming. Jake was so happy and relieved, and this is the moment where he really fell in love with boxing. Jake at this time had grown so tired of all the Team 10 stuff, all the drama. As I said, he fell in love with boxing and he just wanted to train, he wanted to change his life. But Jake didn't follow up his first victory, his first fight, with a lot of activity. He took the entirety of 2019 off. There were a lot of talks during 2019 of the rematch between Jake and Logan Paul, who of course in the main event had a draw. They finally faced in November 2019, where KSI won by decision. Jake was furious about KSI beating his brother, and he wanted revenge. He wanted to face KSI next. But KSI was finished. He had done his thing. He beat Weller and finished that beef. He finally beat Logan, the much bigger guy, took it to the US, beat him on home turf, home ground. KSI wanted to focus on music, but Jake, he didn't have it. He was like, I want to fight you, I want to knock you out. Which brings us perfectly in to this next video. What did Jake Paul have to do to get the KSI fight?
The reason I'm doing this fight is because KSI was like, hey, like if you beat Gib, you beat my brother, you beat Gib, who's like one of his best friends, like then I'm going for KSI. So that's like, it's like a stepping stone.
It's coming, but I'm gonna let Gib do it first. And if Gib don't do it, boy, I'm gonna kill you.
He's getting dropped. He doesn't stand a chance.
Fantastic. Another British YouTuber, KSI's friend, he had been fighting on both KSI's cards. The Joe Weller card and the first Logan Paul card. And he had been waiting since 2018 to fight again. 2-0 in the YouTube boxing scene. And he wanted Jake Paul. And KSI gave him the opportunity. Fight, my friend. He thought Gib would smoke Jake. And many in the UK thought so. While the US, of course, were Team Jake. Jake took the challenge and made his professional boxing debut.
He's staying very calm. He knows exactly what he wants to do in there. He's working behind the cage.
Big right hand that lands.
He's hurt.
Gib
is hurt. And now he's down again. And that...
Yeah, it was over. It was over. Honestly, that finishing sequence by Jake, you could argue that that's one of his best boxing highlights. Just looking at skill, he looked like a decent, good boxer. You saw how he set up the shots a bit with the jab. Boom, bam, bam, boom, boom. And for his second fight, Jake had risen so quick in skill. From the time we saw him against Deji, he had risen so far. While Gibb, like, he tried his stuff. He tried the pressure. He tried to go up and down, up and down. He got memed, looking like a crab. And there was a free knockdown rule in Las Vegas, wherever they were. And Jake got the third knockdown. And Gibb was done. The ref stopped it. Everyone in the public was stunned. Shock. We had never seen a YouTube boxer looking like that. Complete domination. It looked like an amateur versus a boxer. That's basically how it looked. And also, let's remember Jake, as we saw later in his career, Jake was the bigger man. Gibb he ate a lot, tried to put on muscle. And not only muscle, size. He was going in there with a much bigger man. Jake was amped. KSI was in the crowd. He was furious. And I think going through his head, he wasn't scared of Jake. It wasn't like, I'm gonna lose. But I think he was set on like, Gibb's gonna beat him. I'm gonna do my music stuff. And let's see if boxing comes back in 2 years, 5 years, whenever I feel like it. This put KSI in a hard position. Now you had to take the fight. Jake did what you wanted him to do. He beat Gibb easily. Let's remember, guys, this was January 2020. What happened in March 2020? People started to sneeze. The world went into chaos. Lockdown. So this fight, if that stuff didn't happen, this fight would probably happen in... who knows? Would it happen as early as April? Maybe the summer? Who knows? But that's not what happened. Instead, influencer boxing, YouTube boxing, goes quiet. But in November 2020, we have Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Pretty insane thinking about Mike Tyson being in the main event. And here we go!
Nothing funny about what's happening with Nate Robinson, but Snoop Dogg is singing the hymns. He's trying to get the ring. Oh, that's it! Mamma mia, the pro-
This was when Jake Paul shocked the world. I can also tell you, at the time, people thought Nate Robinson, a retired 40-year-old basketball player, would beat Jake Paul, who trained boxing day after day after day for now over 2 years. Poor Nate Robinson got memed so bad with all the sleeping memes. Fantastic. But this was the time where the YouTube boxing audience, the people that were watching this stuff, this was when Jake got established as the number one, the best YouTube boxer. KSI wasn't fighting, Logan wasn't fighting, their fight was a year prior. But even the world, now, it had been just the YouTube stuff, like the YouTube audience, a much younger audience. Now, Nate Robinson, a like basketball player, American, NBA, whatever it is, all that stuff. Now people started to talking. Joe Rogan started to mention it. Jake went viral everywhere, and he started to pick his name. I want this guy. I want this guy. So Jake thought, what's next? How can I capitalize on this viral knockout? He had done the YouTube stuff. He had beat 2 YouTubers. He had beat the athlete, the sports guy, the basketball player. Now, Jake knew on skill level, he couldn't just go in there with, like, even lower ranked, like, he couldn't just go in there with boxers. What's the biggest name with some legitimacy? So people think I will lose, but I probably won't. So he looked, here's where he started. He looked at the MMA world, especially the UFC. And what's the biggest name at the time, even now, probably still, was the biggest name who was just about to fight in MMA, in UFC. Who?
What the f up, you Irish? Good morning, Conor McGregor. I know you're probably beating up old dudes in a bar right now, or maybe you're jacking off because you're sick of your wife. I mean, she's a 4, Conor. You could do a lot better, but happy Monday. My team sent you a...
Yeah, okay, I have to... Let's not continue with that, because I will just have to... that's gonna be a pain in the editing. He basically offered Conor a lot of money to box. This was just before the Dustin Poirier fight, in January 2021. But of course, that fight didn't go as well for Conor as many people thought. So Jake Paul did a follow-up.
UFC 257, Conor McGregor just got knocked the fuck out. Worst stream of all time, Dana White. Worst stream ever. We want refunds. Conor McGregor got paid $5 million.
Yeah. So Jake basically went on to be like, okay, you know, those millions of dollars I offered you, he just lowered the price. Like, you just lost. You just lost, motherfucker. Like, you're not getting that money from me. We can still fight, but you're not getting all that money. Of course, that fight didn't happen. Conor went on to the fight Dustin again in the trilogy. So Jake Paul had to look at other names. So Conor was out of the picture. This was the time where Dylan Dennis was in the conversation. They had their back and forth. And other people in the MMA scene, some guys that weren't in the UFC, many guys that still were in the UFC. But someone who did fight in the UFC, 3 fights in 2019, who became viral for all the wrong reasons, with a nasty fast KO, who was retired from MMA and needed a hip replacement, I think. Not in the best shape, but he saw great money. And he thought, I can beat this YouTuber. I'm not known for my hands. Ben Askren. Ben Askren has always been funny and quick-witted on the mic. So him and Jake had some good back and forth. At this time, people were so convinced that Ben Askren would win. And Ben Askren is known, like him and Damian Maia, is kind of... No, not at all. Ben Askren, much worse. At least worse. In the boxing, striking overall than Damian Maia. Probably the worst in UFC history, at least at the high level. So, people at this time came with the dumbest arguments for Ben Askren winning. Like, I remember, dude, I bet on this and won good money. Easy win. So the thing is, people were saying, like, oh, look at the bombs Ben Askren took from guys like Robbie Lawler. And, you know, yeah, he got knocked out by Masvidal, but that was, you know, a flying knee. Look at the bombs Robbie Lawler landed on. Every day you saw that. Everyone was saying it. Robbie Lawler fight. Okay, let's see what happened. I mean, he's just a YouTuber, right? He's just a YouTuber.
Right to them ribs, bang, right to the motherfucking head.
He's a fucking bad boy, dude.
He is. Jake, get out. I'm trying
Jake's
to tell
a
you.
bad boy.
You think I'm gonna put $2 million on a motherfucking goofball? What?
As you see, Ben Askren had nothing. He looked worse here than he did in striking in MMA. He just moving forward, and this was what people were saying. He can just, you know, grab a hold of Jake, rough him up in the clinch, make him tired, take the shots, and like finish him later on. I know he doesn't have good hands, he doesn't have much power, but still enough to beat Jake. Okay, guys, you're correct. And this was this was people that you thought were smart. But we'll see. I mean, I was correct.
Jake Paul sparred with former world champion Jean Pascal and
Get my
also
money,
cruiserweight
Jake.
Fell like a sack of potato. And of course, Ben Askren is much better now. He seems to be decent when it comes to the health. So happy for him. We love you, Ben. But at this time, this was hilarious. Fantastic. And the ref stopped it. Like, Ben wasn't there. And even if you thought it was an early stoppage, he would have gone... like, Jake... If you just let Jake continue, he would have knocked him spark out like he did with Nate Robinson. So, sad day for Ben Askren. So, around this time, this is summer 2021, the Jake Paul hype is going like this. He was fighting 3 times in 2021. Jake were going back and forth with Dana White about fighter pay the fighters more. So people started to get conflicted because people have been on Dana for years, and especially like this kind of reminded people again about, yeah, like look at what boxers make and MMA fans. I think MMA fighters are overpaid as fuck, but that's a completely different thing. So people were like, I hate Jake, he says this is cocky, I don't like him at all, but he says this stuff and pushes Dana, which I really like. And, you know, the drug stuff, this wasn't where people were saying much of the rigged stuff. For all these, like, millions, apparently, at least thousands of haters that you see online, they could never, not a single fight, they could give Jake the props. You're the better man, you won. Always something. PDs. Rigged. Oh, he was injured, or he was, like, fluke. Every time. So Dana was accusing Jake of PDs. Jake was accusing Dana of taking cocaine. So they was just going back and forth. And of course other people started to get in the picture. More Dylan Danny's talk. The Tommy Fury name. Of course the much younger brother of the heavyweight champ Tyson Fury. And who had got some fame of Love Island in the UK, I believe. Molly May. All that stuff. So he had some fame. Made also sense. Technically a pro boxer. Some legitimacy for Jake, especially being a Fury. So all these names going around, but something that made sense. Tyron Woodley had his last fight in the UFC back during this time, early 2021. In March, April, around that time, lost to Vicente Luque. So he was released, he was out of the UFC. But still, you know, a former world champion, one of the greats at welterweight, known for his big right hand that knocks people out. Speaking of Robbie Lawler. And backstage of this fight, because Tyron Woodley was in the corner of Ben Askren, they are good friends from back wrestling days. So he was here supporting Ben. But backstage, when they were like wrapping the gloves and everything, I don't think Jake was there, but at least one of his one of Jake's guys in his teams, at least one guy in Jake's team, were kind of, you know, talking shit to Woodley. Honestly, that video still pisses me off. He was talking trash to Woodley, basically. And this became heated really quick. It became a pretty easy story to tell, and it made sense. Tyron Woodley, the friend of Ben Askren, coming in to take revenge on Jake Paul for doing that to poor sack of shit Ben Askren. What's up, guys? This is Lowblow MMA here. I realized pretty quick, I'm sitting and editing right now. The video is kind of done, I think. I realized I had to turn this into 2 parts. I want to release this pretty quick for you guys tonight, instead of Christmas is soon, and it's what I don't want to release this stuff now. Yeah, we turn it into 2 parts. It's fine. Part 1 now, part 2, 2 days or something is fine. Editing have been taking hours. This is not the normal kind of video I do. This is yeah, a lot of time and effort editing, as you saw in the last 2 videos. And yeah, dude, guys, I'm so thankful for everyone that's watching. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, part 2 is coming soon. Put down below what you guys thought. Like and subscribe. 2 videos here, I think. Subscribe everything. See you next time. Peace, guys. Love you guys.